Greetings from Jacksonville, Arkansas. Today is Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. The time is approximately 5:25. I would like to discuss this breaking news out of Los Angeles, California. This news clip is Newsom files emergency motion to block Trump's deployment of troops in LA. You all, I'm going to do a quick elaboration, and I'm just going to tell you that we know that ICE have been continuing to remove illegal aliens from the country. And part of the Real ID process was to cut down on illegal activity, because we know that it's so easy for people to steal other people's IDs. It's easy for them to hack and obtain other people's identification numbers and includes their ID for, say, driver's license and passport and things. So to cut back on that, our government is sending in their troops to help secure the country. Donald Trump had to send in the National Guard, the Army National Guard, to assist law enforcement because the protesters were fighting against the proceedings there as far as moving illegal aliens from the country. They had the Sheriff Department, Border Patrol, ICE, other police law enforcement agencies working together to apprehend these illegal aliens. But there are people protesting and fighting against them, wanting them to let the people live in the country illegally. And so they don't understand that tax-paying programs is for people that are legal. It's in the budget doesn't cover illegal aliens. Also, when you have people illegally in the country, there are various security things to be concerned about. First of all, where they're getting their money from to pay for their expenses. Secondly, if they steal from a person, individual, or a company, it'll be more difficult for them to trace and track them. So if a person is illegally in the country, they could be carrying some type of virus or, something that is commutable, that can be a public threat to our safety in terms of health. So there's various reasons that I may not have even spoken about as to why it is a crime to be in someone's country illegally. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, and then I will elaborate some more.
Yeah, that's right, Glenn and Lou. New at this hour, we're getting word from the governor as well as the attorney general that they are asking for the Trump administration immediately to be blocked in any expansion of the National Guard and Marines mission here in Los Angeles. Take a look. You can see the National Guard here behind me at the federal building. This all comes as the president takes credit for stopping violence in LA and says he told Governor Newsom this in a recent call.
Called him up to tell him got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, you would have Los Angeles would be burning right now.
You are looking at last night's demonstrations in downtown LA. California Governor Gavin Newsom with a very different take on things versus the president. On X just this morning, accusing the president of militarizing our state and provoking chaos, saying the additional 2,000 National Guard troops recently mobilized to bring the total of 4,000 will inflame tensions in LA. The state already filed a lawsuit over the National Guard federalization and deployment, arguing it is unconstitutional. And now with the Marines headed to Los Angeles, the new legal action just coming down and being reported in the last hour. The governor in a Pod Save America podcast interview recorded before this latest news saying that the president's actions should be concerning more broadly.
This is an act not just against the people here in Los Angeles, against the people here in the state of California, but against Americans all across this country, against the principles of our founding father that did not live and die to watch these authoritarian tendencies in action.
Recently, there's been a back and forth between the president and Newsom, with the president suggesting Newsom could be arrested if he interferes with immigration enforcement. Speaker of the House today asked on Capitol Hill if Newsom should be arrested. Here's how he answered.
that's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean, look, he's standing in the way of the administration and the carrying out of federal law, right? He is applauding the bad guys and standing in the way of the good guys.
Take a look over the weekend. You may recall Paramount was in LA County City where we saw protests that started in response to an ICE staging area near a Home Depot. Well, today a lawmaker representing that area of LA County in Congress, she expressed concerns over the president's rhetoric.
They're using words like insurrection. They're using words like invasion, because I believe this is their way to lay down the groundwork to try to have martial law and invoke the Insurrection Act. And I think that's a concern. And remember, this is an order not just for California, but for this entire country.
So you can see the very different rhetoric, whether you're hearing from Democrats or Republicans, this issue highly political. And back here on the ground in Los Angeles, we're learning from the Pentagon the cost of this, the National Guard and the Marines being sent here. The Department of Defense reporting it comes with a price tag of $134 million. That's the latest live here in downtown LA. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Okay, you guys, so I'm just going to pause it right there. So I have seen all kinds of posts and clips online, on Twitter, YouTube, etc., where there is mixed emotions regarding illegal aliens. You have people that want the illegal aliens to stay in the country, and they pose a threat to our safety and our security and to our way of life. There are people who have worked all of their lives and or who are heirs, and they don't want to be targeted by hoodlums who is looking for a handout. Now, I'm not saying not to help people who need it, but there's a clear difference between those who qualify for help, like as far as asylum seekers. There's a lot of Ukrainians here in the United States. There's even some here in the state of Arkansas because of the war between them and Russia. So those type of people qualify for assistance. We have refugee cash assistance and EBT food stamps and cash, EBT food stamps and Medicaid and different things to help cover their expenses and things. So, and housing for these people that qualify. When people are illegal, they cannot really rent. Well, maybe they can, but anyways, when they're illegal, it just raised all kinds of red flags. And as far as the protesters, I don't know, like, why would you all set fires? Why are you committing arson? I've seen a lot of fires over the past several days in Los Angeles, California, and news clip. In addition to them sending in the Army National Guard, they have also sent in the Marines, and the Marines aren't going to play with them. Okay, so it's like Marines all the way, 100%, 200%, 210%. Well, I got that from my late husband, Robert. He used to tell my boys that, so, because he was in the Marines. He's an older gentleman. So you all, the Marines is not going to play with them. And, you know, it's bad when they send in the Army National Guard, and Donald Trump said, call the governor and told the governor or the mayor of Los Angeles that they were doing a bad job if he didn't send in the National Guard, that Los Angeles would be engulfed in flames. And he said there would be more deaths. Apparently, there's been injuries. I don't know how many fatalities or anything that have occurred as a result of the protests. But I believe that it would help if law enforcement speak to the public and let these people know that if they are caught trying to interfere with law enforcement and with the personnel, that includes fire department and the paramedics, while they're trying to do their job and services as it pertains to them removing and apprehending these illegal aliens, that they could be prosecuted. They need to know this. Arson is a crime, and it's not okay to go around setting fires. And it was so bad that even the paramedics couldn't even get in there to attend to the injured because they needed law enforcement to secure the area, like first responders, including the fire department. They needed them to secure the crowd because they were so violent. And you know, it's sad to say that the people who are protesting, a lot of them are Americans. And what is wrong with Americans? Like, what is wrong with y'all? If you would like to go live in a third world developing country, go knock yourself out. Don't help to mess up what's left of America. Without prejudice, I must say that I am well aware that the state of California, the state of Texas, and most of the states bordering, if not all, the Gulf of Mexico, belongs to the Aztecs Mexicans. Many of the other states belongs to Native Americans, which consisted of various tribes, including Cherokee Indian, different like Quapaw, and so many. I should get a list of the different Native American tribes. Now, sometimes people get when we say Native Americans, a lot of times people will include the word Native American Indians, and then some people confuse Native American Indians with Indians from South Asia. There may be some similarities, but I believe there's a difference. And when you're talking about Native Americans, their skin tone can be anywhere copper, brown to fair skin and things, and they can have black hair, curly hair, and they can have straight hair similar to that of Aztecs Mexicans. For people who don't know American history, the United States did not always have 50 states. The United States first started out with about 8 states, and then they began to incorporate blue states and red states. I believe the southern states were the blue states and the north were the red, or vice versa. And then the United States purchased Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the U.S. was known as the U.S. Virgin Island and the Ocean Pacific. As far as the state of Louisiana, it was not part of the United States of America. It was an island. They purchased it. You need to read about the Louisiana Purchase. I would try to look for that information about the Louisiana Purchase and include that in this description box. And if you look at Louisiana, it's rich in culture, especially even New Orleans. They speak Cajun Creole and also French and English. So Louisiana does not have counties like the other states here in the United States. They actually have parishes like Bossier City Parish instead of counties. There's an issue in regards to illegal immigration, in regards to securing our borders, in regards to apprehending and removing these individuals that are illegally in the country. And there's the issue with Americans who think that they are law enforcement, and they're setting fires, they're committing arson, and they don't even understand, like, what are y'all mad at? Why wouldn't you want law enforcement to do their job? Now, I can understand if law enforcement was on the wrong side of the law. Now, that would be justifiable. Your actions would be justifiable. But in this case, they're on the right side of the law. So, again, my question is to the Americans that are setting these fires, that are trying to go toe-to-toe with law enforcement, and then when law enforcement get outnumbered, the fire department get outnumbered, so they bring in the Army National Guard. So they're trained in ground infantry to fight people in wars, and instead they fighting Americans, just dumb Americans, like literally. They're running the country, and they got to know their place. If you are not authorized to work as a law enforcement or as a leader, you have not been sworn in to Congress, you are out of line. Now, it's one thing if you're protecting your country and you're trying to drive out invaders, but y'all are helping invaders to stay. Something wrong with y'all. I don't know what you've been smoking, but something is not right. These people are like literally lost their minds, trying to fight the National Guard, law enforcement, the firefighters, the paramedics. They're crazy. Like, seriously.
Put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did it. People, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the auto pen, These are criminals. People are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country. And I don't think that Biden knew what the hell he was doing. I don't think he even knew about it. But when they opened up our borders for the whole world to come in, yeah, we're going to get them out. We're getting them out. We're starting to get acknowledgement from the courts that, there's a system. They come in without courts and they go out there. They want trials and everything else. I think that's starting to work out now. Judges are starting to see what a terrible situation it is. Many of those people that you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden. That you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden. And they want to stay, and we don't want them. And they come from jails, and they come from mental institutions, and they come from all over the world, not just South America. And we're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here. We did a great job. The people, you, Christy, and Tom Holman, and all of the people, Pete Hegseth.
I'm going to get ready to wrap up my coverage on the ICE. Protest continues. I believe we're in day 5 or more. As Donald Trump just said, the people that are coming here illegally are the people that not even their own country wants. They're coming from everywhere. They're not just from South America or Central America. Of course, I'm in North America and the United States of America. I ended with this next clip. I just want to say that I love Donald Trump and how he is governing our country. I know that there are many questions in regards to the tariffs. Now, he could lower the price on those, but I believe that he's doing a great job and that he's well informed on the issues that are going on. He's doing what a president is supposed to do. We see him in power, and he sent out the Army National Guard, and he also has sent out the Marines to help the law enforcement and their personnel like firefighters and paramedics to properly secure the area as they continue to try to remove these illegal aliens. Donald Trump, just to recap what he said, that a lot of the illegal aliens came in under Joe Biden's administration. And he said that, of course, they're going to be removed, and that if they try to fight, they're going to be equal power. And we definitely don't want the incident where the young woman was burnt on a set of fire, where the man was he from Central America? I believe he was from Guatemala. And he set during the holidays of 2024, I believe around Christmas or November. Remember, he had already been removed from the United States, and this believed to be homeless woman was on a train, and she was falling asleep, and it was time for the conductor to finish his shift when someone smelt something burning, and Lord behold, this man from Central America had set her on fire, and now he's in jail. And they said he had already been previously removed from the country, but here goes.
Right now on the afternoon edition, we have our eye on Los Angeles, bracing for a 5th day of demonstrations over deportation sweeps by ICE agents. 700 Marines now arriving in this city, along with 2,000 more National Guard troops, all at the direction of President Trump. And this just in, Governor Newsom filing an emergency motion to block that deployment, calling it illegal. Thanks for joining us today. We are getting our first look at the cost for the troop deployment to Los Angeles. $134 million. That is according to the Pentagon.
Get on our new barbecue brisket steak burger. It's smoked for 16 hours. Now that's a long time, especially when you polish it off in under 2 minutes.
And the woman set on fire and killed in a subway car in Brooklyn 2 weeks ago has now been identified by New York police. They say the victim was 57-year-old Debrina Kawam, a woman who was homeless, and at the time she was set on fire was sleeping on a subway car. She was originally from Toms River in New Jersey. Fingerprints and DNA evidence were among the tools that helped pinpoint her identity.
Now to a disturbing and deadly attack here in New York City. Tonight, police say they have a suspect under arrest after a woman sleeping in a subway car was set on fire. She later died. CBS's Tammy Mutasa is in New York with details on what exactly happened. Tammy.
Tarika, this was a brutal attack on a woman who just appeared to be sleeping on a public train, and police found that victim when they saw smoke during a routine patrol. Horrifying moments inside an F train on the New York City subway. Just before 7:30 this morning, NYPD investigators say a woman was set on fire and burned to death. Police say as the train approached the last stop in Brooklyn, the suspect walked up to her, lit her on fire, and stayed on the scene, watching her burn from the train platform. After the NYPD released images of a person of interest, 3 young men called 911 when they saw the suspect on a different subway. Police stopped the train and arrested the man.
There must be strong, swift consequences on this person, and I use that term lightly, who committed this brutal homicide.
And Tarika, the NYPD said cameras have been installed in every subway car, and it's because of...
Fortunately, it was too late, and the victim was pronounced on the scene.
On Monday, Zepeda was charged with murder and arson. Police do not believe that he and the victim, who has not been identified, knew each other or had any prior interaction. Zepeda entered the U.S. without authorization in 2018 and was deported to Guatemala a few days later. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said in a statement it was unclear when he had unlawfully re-entered.
Oh, my